One of the questions that I want you to ask yourself today is how do you feel less meh? Because this is something that I've been thinking about this week, and isn't it an interesting question? Because if you're anything like me, which I'm sure you are, you also know that feeling of just meh. You're not feeling too bad, but you're also not feeling that great. You're sort of just existing. It's sort of, for me, it's my normal state. In my normal state, I feel sort of meh. Like, I'm okay. I'm not bad. I'm not extremely good either, though. I'm just sort of in the middle of things. I'm sort of meh. But this led me to asking, how do I feel less so? How do I feel less meh? How do I feel better instead? This is one of those questions that I've asked myself this week, and instantly when I thought about this, I knew the answers intuitively, but I don't follow the answers that I have, if that makes sense. And I hope I'm not alone in this, and I hope that you can somewhat relate at least. But when I ask myself, how do I feel better? And how do I feel less meh? I came up with three quite clear answers. Number one is exercise. When I work out and I move my body, almost like instantly I feel better. I feel at least different, which in most of the time is good. And like, for me, I love both doing cardio but also lifting weights. They're good in different ways, so to speak. When I lift weights, I feel more powerful. I love being sore. It's the best feeling in the world, in my opinion. But there's a big there's a big button here. And not just mine. No. But the but that I have with with lifting weights is that it exhausts me. It makes me feel so much more tired than almost anything else. In the moment when I've got a pump and I'm lifting the weight, like, it feels amazing. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing. And usually the day after as well is perfect when I'm sore. Love that feeling. Like, I can actually tell that I've done something for once, and I haven't just sat around being a lump of laziness. So that's why I love it. But the exhaustion that comes after is what I think is my central nervous system mainly, but like, you're just sort of fried. You can't really make yourself do anything afterwards. And I hope, I'm like, again, I hope I'm not completely alone in this, but that's at least how it feels for me, is when I go through a heavy workout, especially if I work out like in the morning, for like at least a good couple hours afterwards, I'm kind of fried. I don't have either the mental or the physical energy to do anything taxing or focus too hard, because it just doesn't work. But maybe that's just my body not being good. So again, I love working out with weights. It's amazing, but from time to time I need to switch over to doing cardio, because again, in the beginning when I started doing cardio, it fucking sucked. Like, it was the worst thing ever. I despised it. But as I guess, after I got better at it, after I did more cardio, you sort of get this high afterwards, and you have more energy when you're done than when you began, weirdly enough. Again, is that just me? But that's how it feels anyway. It sort of feels like you unlock energy by using energy, by sweating it out. You get momentum, I suppose is the best way to describe it. After I've moved my body, it sort of wants to keep moving, so I have more energy unlocked in some strange way. So when I do my morning cardio at like 4:30 in the morning, yes, I'm crazy. No need to point that out, but those mornings when I do my morning cardio, I also have a tendency of like walking more and moving more throughout the day compared to when I don't. Because normally I just go to work, I sit down, then I don't leave my desk for like the entire day. I know, like it's not good, but that's how I do things. And then I go back home, and then I sit back down, and then I don't move again until I go to bed. Like, yeah, I move a lot, don't I? But on the days when I do my cardio first thing in the morning, I have more energy and I want to move. I even usually like put my desk up so that I'm standing more often. Just, I move way more, strangely enough. Like, I don't know if that's a normal side effect or not, but it works, I guess. And it also makes me way hungrier, which, isn't the best thing since I only eat once a day, but it works. It gets me through the day, and I'm way more motivated to get home to eat dinner. So yeah, that's like the first thing that I instinctively knew when I asked myself, how do I feel better? The second thing is reading, because that's just, if you don't read books, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to try. Maybe not non-fiction, because that can be a bit tough. I enjoy it sometimes, but not for too long. I need breaks. Non, or, wait, no, fiction was what I meant to say. Fiction, amazing though. If you find a good genre of book or a favorite author, I can read for hours. I can read for so long that it's just, I get so drawn into the story. I get sort of out of my own head in a way that I can't experience any other way. You know, when you watch a good movie, you get drawn in, you feel your emotions sort of kick in, like you're there. It's like that, but just 10 times better. That's probably the best way that I can describe how reading feels, at least for me, when I read fiction. And some books are like, just, they're also kind of meh, but they at least get you out of your own head. You're not constantly dwelling on your own problems and all of the things going on in your own life. You get a space to separate from yourself, so I suppose. And that's one of those things that's helped me massively to both, I think, get clarity in my own life, because I can relate to the stories I'm reading, and I can experience situations from a different perspective, even if a character in a book is experiencing something that I might be going through currently, or that I have gone through. I can sort of understand it better, since I now see it from a different perspective than I otherwise would, which in my opinion, is huge. Like, it's perfect, and I love it so much. So that's number 2, is reading, both fiction and non-fiction, but mainly fiction, because stories are amazing, and certain authors are, my god. Okay, and number 3 on things that make me feel better is meditation. It's something that before I haven't done nearly enough of, and I haven't appreciated how good it is for me. But lately, it was only when I discovered Joe Dispenza and his work and his meditation style. That's when I really sort of understood it better, I suppose. Because during the years when I've been younger, I've like always dreamt of meditation because it's supposed to be this magical thing that's supposed to fix all your problems and make you levitate or something. It doesn't, by the way. But I've always tried to do like 10-minute guided meditations in the morning. And like, yes, I've done it for a couple days, maybe a few weeks. I've been consistent with it, and I've felt sort of stuck because when you go through those meditations, you always notice how your brain is drifting. And you sort of, you hit yourself in the head because you know that you shouldn't. You know you should be focused. But pulling your mind back to your breath is the hardest thing to do. It is impossible, literally. So instead of doing that or trying to focus on that, you beat yourself up because you can't focus. Yeah, it's sort of a bad circle, and then you get sort of pissed off at yourself because because you suck at meditating, so you stop meditating, and then you never get better at it. Yeah, it's perfect, isn't it? So no, it was only after I discovered Joe Dispenza and the meditations that he's doing, which are far longer, and I can't really explain. The first time that I heard one of Joe's meditations, I was like, okay, whoa, like this is totally different. I'm like, this doesn't feel like a guided meditation. It sort of, it was just completely different, and I felt that it was almost too alien in the beginning. But what I did was that I went through his like basic meditation course, which I think you almost need to understand it properly, because he explains the science and the thoughts behind it in a way that it, like I can't explain it better than it unlocks something, and it makes you believe in the work that he's doing. And once you have that belief, going through the meditations are 10 times easier. You go way deeper because you're not there doubting it or thinking that this won't work, you know, because you have belief in the thing you're doing. You have belief in the meditation, and you know that it will do good, which almost instinctively makes it better. It makes you go deeper, and it makes the whole experience a little more magical, is probably the best words that I have to describe it. And like the first times when I went really deep, like practically falling asleep type deep, but still not falling asleep, it was just this surreal experience. You almost feel like you're losing track of space and time. And yes, that might sound very strange, but that's the best way that I can describe it. And ever since then, I've just been trying it more and more, and I've seen some insane results. Like, I'm not even gonna go into the things I've experienced since I started doing them, but let's just say that they've changed my life for the better. And I'm definitely not gonna stop meditating from here on out. That's for sure. Now, I don't do it every single day, which I probably should because it's amazing, but the times when I do it, especially like first thing in the morning, it it just makes your day better. And today was one of those days. So, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know how to convince you, but I'm also like, I don't need to. I know that it works for me, so if it could work for you, that's all I want to share, is that meditation can be more powerful than you think. And maybe you haven't meditated in the way that you were meant to, you know? Maybe you've just been stuck in this cage of the perception you've had of meditation throughout your life, where you think that you have to do it the specific way and you have to sit cross-legged and focus on the breath, and if the mind like drifts away for even just a second, it's basically not doing anything for you. Because that was me before, but it's not anymore. So meditation, huge. It's amazing. And I love it so much. So yeah, those are three of the things that make my life feel a little less meh, and that makes me feel slightly better. Exercise, reading books, and meditation. But what I'm more curious about is what makes you feel a little less meh. And especially now, like when it's getting closer to winter, do you also feel a little more meh more of the time, or is that just me? Am I the only one who gets a little too, I can feel the seasons changing, and I can feel that the weather does affect me. The gray clouds and rain just makes you feel a bit more meh. I had a coworker the other day who was like, "This weather's pure anxiety." I'm like, maybe I wouldn't go that far, but it's like pure meh in my book. But how do you feel about it? Does the weather affect you equally as much, or is that just me? And also, what makes you feel better throughout the day and makes you feel a little less eh? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear it. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye bye.